And here we are again for another Fika. And we're outside today. We're enjoying the beautiful weather. It is very nice here. It is good to see everyone. I'm glad that you're here. I hope you brought your coffee and you plan to relax. We have a few topics today I'd like to discuss that I think you all might like. So, we're going to have fun today. We are going to have fun. So, we'll wait for everybody to get in here first, and then we'll throw up the link for anybody that would like to jump in. But yeah, it's beautiful outside today. Been outside doing projects, doing yard work, tending to the garden, things like that. A few more things to finish before I go back to work tomorrow. Excuse me. So, to Loco, good to see you. Good to see you. So yeah, the harvest is coming up next month in September, depending on what's growing right now. So we have a lot, especially for August, with all of the vegetables that we can. We preserve some of them. We blanch. So disgruntled, good to see you, bro. So yeah, I hope everyone has a cup of coffee. Good to see everybody popping in. Uh, and let's just enjoy the day and enjoy the beauty. This is the forest that surrounds us. We live right smack in the middle of the forest. I love it. And I have a new thing, a new term back home in Sweden that we do that I want to discuss with you all today. Hopefully, it'll help some of you, um, and it'll help you better understand. We'll get into that in a minute. I might actually bring that up first, but I just wanted to give some updates here soon of some of the new projects that we have, some of the new raised beds that we're doing. Oh, it's not very warm right now, but it will be. It's only about 31 degrees Celsius or 87 degrees Fahrenheit. So 69% humidity. It's too much for me, but um, it's not bad for summer. So for some, and Texas, Florida, places like that, they're getting roasted. Traders, good to see you. Good to see you. I hope you are doing well. I hope life is treating you well. 1,000 degrees in Georgia. Uh, yeah, no, that's disrespectful. That much heat is just disrespectful. It shouldn't be that hot at all. We'll throw up the link a little bit. I'm going to get past the projects that way. I don't get sidetracked and get distracted because that can happen, especially with chat. Uh, so the upcoming harvest. Actually, let's get into the projects first. So some of the projects that we're finishing is the creek, the new bridges that they're building. We're doing one stone bridge and one wooden bridge right now. We'll have probably one more bridge, and we're kind of debating on whether or not to have it as a covered bridge or just another wood bridge. So that's uh that's on the list too. So we're going to get the two bridges out of the way first, one that crosses the creek in the back behind the house, and then the other one on the other side of the barn. Luckily, it doesn't have to be that long. It has to be more wide than it is long. So that's what we're looking forward to finishing, is getting that one done by this fall. We want to definitely get it done before winter. It's not a necessity right now. So the stone bridge we have to get done before winter. That way, concrete and the stone and everything else can settle in. Um, a few more raised beds in the back. For herb gardens, we have one area that we just cleared off yesterday, um, that we're going to um, probably use for like an outside workstation for the garden. So we have the crops on the hill, we have the hay fields on the hill, we have one garden next to the house here, and then the main garden is in the back where we grow everything else. So we're trying to transition everything to the back. The pole's still going up. It'll actually be right behind me. So we're going to extend the porch out here another 12 feet. as a deck to the pool, so you could just walk right out front, go straight to the pool. We discussed maybe putting a hot tub out here too, but that's just on the wish list. That's not, you know, uh, 100% yet. So we're going to build a new fire pit out back next to the garden. Um, Probably a small shelter type area, just so during the summer we go back there and relax because in the afternoon the shadow of the house, we have a two-story home, hits that area of the garden, cools the crops for the end of the day. The greenhouse is back there as well. We're going to remodel the greenhouse, so that will be fun to watch. We will have this on the end of summer's video, not the part two, but we will definitely have this somewhere, maybe towards the beginning of October. We'll release that video of finishing those projects. Um, I think that's about it for right now, and then preparing for the hunt in the fall. There is one Ohio fall gathering that I'm going to. I won't be able to live stream anything from there because the internet service is shady, which is fine because I don't use my phone most of the time that I'm at the gathering. Um, and then preparing everything here for winter. So we prepare the crops at harvest. We go hunting. We hunt for different animals, from rabbit to bear to deer, and we use those hides also for warm decoration for the chairs and stuff like that to help pad. So you're not sitting on frozen wood in the winter because we're outside a lot too in the winter, not just in the spring, summer, and fall. Um, and also we use it for bed covers. So extra warm, extra warm in the winter. Guardian Angel, thank you for the sub. Good to see you. Good to see you. So yes, and then getting that meat packaged and frozen so we can use it all during the fall and winter. We eat a lot of wild game in the fall and winter: turkey, deer, bear, squirrel, rabbit, things like that. It's more nutritious. Has a higher mineral content than packaged food you can get into the store. Um, and we use a lot of the bones not just for altar decorations and things like that. Uh, uh, ladder cairns and things like that. We have all sorts of things. Lays and Blaze, thank you. Um, so yeah, we have a lot coming up, and of course, also during the harvest, we prepare the farm for winter. We get everything in, we get all the equipment checked, some of the oil drained, things like that. Um, Change spark plugs out the chainsaws and the tiller, things like that. Clean everything up and put it away until we do our check in February, when we start planning to grow again for the spring. So this is many of the things that we're looking forward to right now. It's a lot of work. This is like the busiest time of year for me. From October until about March, the beginning of March is the best time of year for me to just sit and relax, and I craft, and we do a lot of things inside. All right, so I'm going to get you all introduced to a term, and actually a friend had asked another friend about this term in Sweden, which I'll go ahead and type it in here for you. We call it lagom. Well, if I could learn to type in English. Lagom. Lagom in English means moderate, but in Sweden it's an adjective which means the right amount. So what that means is we only, with everything that we do and the work balance between uh, work and home and play and family, we always practice lagom, which basically means that you only take the right amount that's just good for you, no more or no less. It's like learning how to live in balance, learning how to live in sustainability. So for example, I work in the ER. It's very chaotic there. There's a lot of sickness, a lot of death. So here on my farm, surrounded by the forest, is my serenity. So that's my lagom between work and home. So if you ever go out to, with a friend, uh, to a pub or bar, and you're drinking and you don't want to get absolutely hammered, lose your wits about yourself, to say or do stupid stuff. So lagom teaches you uh, to just drink the right amount to where you're comfortable. You do everything to where you're comfortable, and no more and no less. You don't have to get absolutely hammered, and you could just drink to where you're good. So if you just want to get to a buzz and stay there, that's fine. If you just don't want to drink anymore, which I've done many times, I've started off drinking and then just like, you know what, I want some coffee, so I make some coffee. So lagom is very good. Yes, other countries do this. Some of them don't call it that exactly, but yeah, it's just not doing everything uh too much. It's staying within that moderation. Just enough to make you happy. That's it. Like a balance between hiking and farm work. We took a break the other day and said, hell, let's go to the creek. Connor wanted to go swimming, so did my niece and one of his friends. I said, yeah. So we took a mile hike to the creek, um, and relaxed, and they swam. I got my ankles wet, and I decided, you know what, I want to take a nap. So I took a 45-minute nap in the forest, just threw my blanket down, and there it was. Guidance, good to see you. Yeah, tequila. Tequila is definitely, you need to lagom tequila. That's, yeah. Whew. Yes. Yes. So I noticed that I had started drinking last month way more vodka than I normally do. And I normally don't drink vodka in the summer. That's a winter drink for me. So I said, you know what? I'm putting it away. I'm putting it away because I'm not practicing what I preach. And I need to put that up for a while until the colder weather hits, and just balance yourself. Because if you get out of balance, the the cosmos will put you back in balance. It will happen. It will happen. I promise you that. So yes, you can look it up. Lagum. Lagum is a great thing. It's not very widely known or practiced. So there we are. Pendar, good to see you. Panel is open if anybody wants to join. I went ahead and pinned the link to the top. If you're on your PC or laptop, it's right over here. So yeah, and we have this beautiful breeze today. Beautiful breeze. Birds are chirping, cats are napping, dogs are inside eating. So it's a good day. Yes, it's an absolutely beautiful day. I have a few more projects that we might not make this a very long Fika. Have a few more projects to finish before nightfall, which is normally around 9 p.m. So back home, the sun will be up at midnight. So it took a few years to adjust to American, American weather, American sun. I'll go back home and I'll probably be too energetic or too old, too lazy. Luna Wolf, good to see you. Yes, yes. Like 2 horns of mead is good for Luna Wolf. A glass of wine or one shot of tequila and or vodka. Reka, Reka vodka. I'll give a plug to them. Icelandic vodka, good stuff. Yeah, and then she's done. She seen me at my most hammered, so we don't repeat those because I start telling all sorts of stories. So yeah, that's also Lays. That's also a reason why I don't want to spend um, too much time on here. It's just way too nice of a day. It's much too nice to be sitting here on this platform for an hour. There's much to be done. It's a beautiful day to enjoy it. You could probably hear the birds chirping in the background. They're happy birds. Bird feeders, sorry, right here behind me. One of the bird feeders. So, yeah, if anybody wants to jump on panel, tell me how your week's going. If you're out to, I know some people are at work. This is a strange time to do Fika for some of you that are working right now. But yes, get out and enjoy the day. Go for a hike. Even in the afternoon. Even in the afternoon. If you prepared dinner or whatever, and everyone has eaten this evening, everybody has supped, then just go for a walk afterwards. Or go through a walk in your neighborhood. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to, drive to a park somewhere or a state forest. But yeah, Emily says rain in the UK. Yes, it does rain in the northwest of Europe a lot. So throw in a raincoat. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. Throw in a raincoat. Get some rain gear on. Go for a walk. In Scandinavia, we have a saying: "There's no such thing as bad weather. You're just not dressed right." Of course, my grandfather used to say we don't have summer, we just have 2 months of bad skiing season. So, Burr, good to see you. Good to see you. Glad to see everyone here. Glad to see everyone here. Wish I could show you the whole property right now. I've got everything set just right, so I don't want to unplug anything by picking up the computer or anything. But yeah, you can see it's a beautiful view behind us. Uh, this is one of many. We're surrounded by hills and mountains and trees. I just absolutely love it. James, good to see you. I hope everything is well in Ottawa and you guys are surviving in Canada. I know you had some heat there and some bad storms go through. Tog, good to see you as well. So, yeah, we have a lot to endure in this heat before harvest. And then harvest is not just a whole month for us, from about the beginning of August to the beginning of September, sometimes the middle of September after the corn is done. Um, but yeah, when we go out and it's an all day affair in the garden, and then bringing everything in, getting it washed, getting it prepped for canning. Uh, some of the beans we blanch if we know we're going to eat immediately within the next 2 months, and that's a good process. And we may do a video to show you how to do the blanch. Um, and of course, making mead. We make a lot of mead this time of year, especially what we're going to drink into the spring. How do you plant a fall garden? That just depends on what you want to grow. So we do potatoes and radishes late. Uh, we actually thought about doing winter wheat this year through the colder months. Um, and of course, then you still have your greenhouses. But there is a trick to doing a fall garden that you can take jars, like mason jars. I suggest a wide mouth so you can still plant things and put those jars over the plant at night. So that way it gives it a greenhouse effect and allows it to stay warm at night uh, when that seedling comes out of the soil, and you can take it off during the day so you don't obviously torch it. Princess Ice, good to see you. Good to see everyone here today. I was surprised to see this many people here for a for 1 p.m. afternoon on the Wednesday. But hey, we're in the middle of the week. You're almost to the finish line. Almost to the finish line. And then you get to enjoy this beautiful weekend that's coming up. Yes, yes, the second planting of peas and beans, we do that to the carrots. So when you harvest your carrots, cut the tops off immediately. As soon as you harvest it, cut it off. Throw the rest of it into, the basket bin, whatever you're using, bucket, and then plant those tops back in the ground, and it'll grow right back. It'll grow very fast right back, and you can get uh, two harvests of carrots, which we try to do. We're doing the Dantes this year, which are, the little 7 to 9 inch carrots, but very sweet, very good. We use them a lot for stews. We'll also slice them up and eat them uh, all through the fall with lots of nuts and fruits as well to keep your immune system up. And a lot of people say, well, why do you eat certain things? Yeah, a certain time of year, we eat more red meat to keep our iron levels up. And in the fall, we eat a lot of like hazelnuts, walnuts, things like that, because the oils in it are good for your skin for cold resistance and to keep your skin healthy in the fall. Nils loves you all too. Remember that. I appreciate you all. Oh, James, you're at the campsite. Skull, man. That's good shit. Yeah, definitely get out. I'm going to try to go camping at the end of August around my birthday. So, yes, yes, DG, absolutely right. If you have raspberries, blueberries, blackberries, right now is the time to do your clippings and get them ready. Strawberries, especially for this times of for this time of year. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It costs you absolutely nothing. It helps us, and it helps us to release more content, uh, and we can get some more good stuff out there to you. We're going to be doing a new raspberry crop. We have a few clippings and stuff, so we have plenty. We just did not know where we wanted to place it. Where are we going to grow this stuff to make sure that it gets equal sun and shade? So you don't want too much shade in the morning, and you don't want too much sun in the afternoon. So not like roses where they're predominantly all day sun. So we had a couple of places in mind that we wanted to do it, and I think we found two really good spots. We know the blueberries will overtake everything, so we have to separate it really well. We thought about doing a vineyard for grapes, but we really don't eat that many grapes. We should because it's great for hydration too. There's a lot of good stuff in grapes. Working on your beer belly, the dad bod, right? Getting that dad bod ready. Um, so that's after the harvest, after the project, things start to wind down. We're saying, okay, we're good, we're set. Wood is split for the fireplace. We are good, for the stove, so we can heat during this winter. We can cook during this winter. So if we do have bad winter storms, we will be ready. And after that's done, and as I said earlier, we can get into the Nils relax mode. What I mean by that is my son and I every year in both fall and winter, we will go build a shelter. We'll do some bushcrafting. This is how we maintain competency any new tips and tricks and practical application for whatever you learn. So you can't just say, okay, I read it, I know how to do it. No, get out there and actually do it. Get into the forest, get into a different type of terrain, you know. And picking your terrain is very important. You don't want to build at the bottom of the hill where a drain is coming off the hill and a massive rain come and then flood your camp out. So you want to choose something that's good enough for cover. You don't want to build um, a winter shelter in the middle of an ice storm and a pine grove because pines have lateral roots, so they'll uproot first. So it's very important to know where you're going to build everything. So yes, we will have bushcraft video. The signal's kind of sketch where we'll be, so I don't know if I'll be able to do it live. But yeah, we're going to take lots of videos, do lots of instruction, and show you how to camp in extremely cold weather in the winter with snow. Hopefully, we get a good amount of snow because that's what I like is building a shelter in the middle of the snow, staying out there overnight. Sometimes we do it for 2 or 3 days at a time, and we'll catch our own food while we're up there. Woo. There we go. Now it's starting to warm up outside, but it's not bad yet. I'm glad I don't live in Texas or Florida. For those in Texas and Florida, nothing against you. Just Nils can't stand that heat. Oh, there's a red-tailed hawk nearby. We have two actually that live very close by, right up here on the hill. I haven't gone searching for their nest, but yes, they're not very far away. They're out here every day. Oh, and we take some of the excess corn and we feed the hawks, the crows, what we don't feed to the chickens and the like. So, Scapegoat, good to see you. Good to see everybody here. We're enjoying the day. We're outside for Fika. We're actually on the front porch, but still we're outside. We're not cooped up with noisy electronic equipment and electrical equipment and stuff like that. We're out here. We're enjoying the day. Nice, beautiful, sunny day with many more things to finish today. So a little bit of yard work um, before we start clearing out a few autumn olive trees. Woo. Still here. There we go. I apologize for that. I did not turn my timer off to my computer like I should have, so he decided to time me out real quick. But Nessa, good to see you. Good to see everyone here. Man, we have a good crowd today for 1 p.m. I'm surprised that you all were able to join. Very grateful. I'm glad you could be here. So we were talking earlier about lagom, lagom, Lagom. Uh, lagom is in English it means moderate, and in Swedish it means the right amount. So we practice lagom to maintain that balance in our lives for basically moderation. You don't have to drink an entire case of beer. You don't have to drink an entire bottle of vodka. You don't have to stay out in the sun all day. Things like that. Just enough, just the right amount. Not too much, not too little, but just that right amount to where you feel comfortable. And basically, that's lagom. A scapegoat. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. It's good to see everybody. I hope you have your coffee or your Red Bull or whatever you're drinking or tea. So, yeah, and we can sit, just relax, enjoy the day, enjoy the sunshine. Daydream if you want to. It's always good. Daydreams are where good ideas come by. Make sure you keep a notepad. You can write down your good ideas. So, yes, if anybody, we're not going to make this a very long stream, just because I have a lot to do today. It's a beautiful day outside. I go back to work tomorrow. We're going to have some good storms tonight too that are coming through. So maybe I could post some short videos on that if Thor decides to come by and visit, and we have a really good ale for him to drink when he comes by for an offering. We will be getting also this fall more into some rituals, which we will explain. I might just do the video, do the premiere, uh, not necessarily go live. That way we can teach you all some things, or at least show you how, in the Norse belief, the old ways, how we still practice stuff in the modern society. So, how is everyone's week going? Did you have a good weekend last weekend? What are you doing to reduce the stress at your life and helping to maintain that balance? Nils wants to know, do you have any big plans this upcoming weekend? Yes. Our tomatoes are crazy. They went nuts. Oh, and a good trick, disgruntled. Um, get the mason jar just full of water. And if you eat bananas, put the banana peel in there, let it soak for 2 or 3 days, take the peel out, or you can throw it into the garden. Pour the water around your tomato plants, and it'll just, it'll blow up. It'll blow up. You'll have like triple the harvest of tomatoes. The plants will grow out of control. They'll go crazy. I have a bad habit of picking the tomatoes. We grow pink brandywines and the beef eaters, the big ones. So I have a very bad habit of, and cherry tomatoes too, that I will pick a few, eat one, pick a few, eat one. And then by the end of the day, my mouth is so damn raw. Ugh. But yeah, but they're so good. Fresh off the vine are so good. It's hard to resist. Izzy, good to see you. Traders, thank you. Thank you for that referral to the stream. So we've discussed a lot of things. We're talking about gardening. We're talking about maintaining balance in your life, upcoming winter projects, and a few other things. Just enjoying the sunny day and the sunny weather. And if it's raining where you are, you can enjoy my sunny weather. It's free. It's absolutely free. We all live underneath an ancient sun. We're all making the same trip around the sun. So why not share it? Why not enjoy it? So it's very, very good to see everybody. But I want to know, what are you guys into? What what are your all's plans this week? Staying balanced, trying not to get stressed out too much. Just take a deep breath. You're halfway through the week. You're almost to the weekend. You can make it. Oh, yes, tomatoes and zucchini. Ah, if you want to stay away from a lot of the starch, we grow summer squash, the green, the zucchini. Um, Angie will take that and she will shred it into like noodles, and she will boil those and strain them the same way you would spaghetti noodles, and use that with spaghetti. So Nils isn't vegan. I'm not vegan by any means, and I have no one that is. I have nothing against anyone that is. I have many vegan friends, but it is a lot healthier and a lot better, less starch than using, modified cornstarch pasta noodles today. I suggest staying away from a lot of corn products too, because that will just wreck your body. But yeah, so she does that. You cannot taste the difference between actual pasta noodles and the shredded zucchini noodles that she makes. It's great stuff. Highly recommend it. Just a little bit of salt when you boil the water. It helps it to boil faster, and it gives it a really good flavor. So between that and zucchini bread, we'll start throwing out more recipes too, including Scandinavian brown bread, uh, and maybe hopefully making some cheeses this fall. Yes, the spaghetti squash. Good stuff. Good stuff. I got hooked on it, so that's like the only way I can eat it now. There's like that film with the store-bought spaghetti noodles. That's just I don't know. It's just you can't stand that aftertaste. A lot of the preservatives ingredients that they put in there with it, and you get that film from it, and it's just nasty. Even if you rinse it well before you boil it, and then after you drain it. But you don't get that with the spaghetti squash, and it's really good. Watermelons, yes, watermelons are great for hydration. It has a higher vitamin C content than oranges. And pine tea, we will show you how to make pine tea as well, just from the shoots from the pine, the needles themselves. And it has a higher vitamin C content. It's one of the highest sources of vitamin C in the natural world, too. We try to grow watermelons out here. We can grow pumpkins, we can grow honeydew, we can grow cantaloupe, but we can't get watermelon to grow here. It takes about as long as corn does, so 110 days for it to mature. But we've just had such a time. We actually thought about having just one bed of a few watermelons, but you know how the vines are; they go everywhere. And if it's a good season, they'll overtake everything. So we try to keep it to one locale. We've tried three different areas to grow these, um, very well drained areas. So don't know what it is. Just watermelon does not like to grow here. So right now we're growing the summer squash. We're growing some beans. We have tomatoes, potatoes. We grow a lot of potatoes. Last year they didn't do too well. The year before, normally we average 300 to 600 pounds per yield of potatoes. We get a lot of potatoes, and that's we get a lot of potatoes during the fall. I mean, potatoes everything. Breakfast, dinner, just a lot of potatoes. Of course, we have some carrots. We have some onions. The asparagus is doing well. Oh, the hammock. So is that like the wires? I've seen friends take like the cattle gates and they'll bend them and they'll grow the watermelons around that so the vines just go back and forth. I've seen people do it with beans, but not watermelon. Yeah, well, wheat is really good. You can do all sorts of things with wheat besides just bread. Um, Corn, yes, we grow corn, but normally we'll grow some sweet corn and some field corn. Um, the field corn we use predominantly for the cattle and the other livestock, and then we sell the rest. And if there's any left over from that that we don't need, that we keep back, then We normally give it away to another farmer, and they'll do the same with what they grow. Like I'll give them so many pounds of corn, normally in 50, 100-pound increments, and then they'll say, hey, we'll send you over some hay for your cattle for the winter. So it all works out. It's all sustainable. But yeah, corn can be a very tricky thing to grow. A lot of people think it's really easy, but it requires a lot of nutrients and really good soil to grow, like most plants do. But you too much rain, your crop's destroyed. Too dry, your crop's destroyed. They're very, very picky, and you can't plant them um, near other things such as tomatoes. Cross pollination, they won't grow very well. So, which is about 10 meters by 7 meters. Is that big one? That's also where we do most of the potatoes. And we've already harvested one row. We've got some good golden russets. We use a lot of those. Not necessarily some of the Idaho russets. There goes one of my neighbors. He has a cattle farm way, way, way behind me, but he doesn't live there. He used to, but he doesn't live there. He lives in another town, so he just comes out here. He tinkers with his old cars. He checks on his livestock, and then he leaves. So he enjoys the city life, and then he comes out here to relax. So that's him practicing his lagom. So yeah, everybody should get into farming or gardening. That's very subjective statement from Niels, but it's very important. It's a great life skill to have. It'll keep you busy during the summer, so you're not sitting inside gaining weight all summer, losing your mind. And if you have a family, it's a good family activity, teaching them to be outside. You don't have to be stuck inside watching TV or playing on video games the whole time. Get up and do more. When the internet was first created, a lot of people viewed it as a break from the real world. Now we're outside to get a break from the internet's life, and that's how it should be. That's how it should be. This is just a tool. We're supposed to be out in nature. We're meant to be out in nature. Yes, the lattice cattle fence. Old t-shirts or nylon. That's actually a very good idea. That's a very good idea. See, Nils learned something new today. Now, if I could just get the damn things to grow. Oh, we have some lettuce too that we're growing. It's out back. So, because Angie loves her lettuce. If you can just keep her some, what we'll do is we'll cut it uh, towards the heart. So you don't actually cut the heart in half, but we'll cut towards the heart. We'll trim that lettuce off, let the rest of it grow, trim it off, and after the first trim, it grows very fast. I mean, you just keep harvesting lettuce and lettuce. So if you like to eat salads a lot, or if you just want to stay hydrated and keep raw lettuce with you, take it to lunch. Oh man! And we have wild lettuce growing out here too, which is kind of everywhere. There's a little bit down there, some over here. I know there's a lot over here by the creek. So yes, harvest that wild lettuce. It has a lot of minerals and nutrients too. Yes, balance is very important. Balance is very important. If you've studied the old ones, what I mean by the old ones is every ancient culture. Even Aristotle wrote 5,000 years ago that the key to happiness is balance. So 5,000 years ago, they knew that. And they're right too. You have to maintain a balance. If you have too much stress in your life, you need to change something. Change your friends, change your approach, change where you're going to. Change your environment. You don't have to appease others. 100%. You don't have to appease anybody. It's your life. You live it. Live it with kindness and respect. And any knowledge you have, like DG just taught me something. Share that knowledge. Knowledge is free. It's the true treasure. So, yes, balance is very, very important. If you don't maintain that balance, you're going to be grumpy all the time. You're going to get depressed, you know, maybe somewhat neurotic. So, what I teach people is go out among the trees, go out into the forest. Evergreens are even better. It contains a chemical called phytoncides, and it's a natural chemical that trees produce to combat fungus or certain animals or bugs. But to humans, it's very beneficial to us. That's why you've heard the old term, you can't go out among the forest and be mad unless you're lost. But yeah, so breathe that in. The effects last for 30 days. It lowers your blood pressure. It'll lower your heart rate, give you a sense of calm, and reduce anxiety. So it's all beneficial, every bit of it. I don't mean go up and hug every tree in the forest. Just go take a packed lunch or something. Just go for a small hike, short hike, and just sit and enjoy the day. If you want to and you feel comfortable, take a nap. If you don't think you'll be eaten by wildlife, stay as long as you want. And then when you're ready, you go back home. And when you go to work, you'll feel a lot better. I promise you, you will. Take plenty of pictures. Turn on some nice calming music. Or if you play an instrument, acoustic guitar or violin, anything, go out and play some music. You would not believe the birds, the animals, they love music. Absolutely love music. Music connects us all. It's a beautiful expression of the spirit. All right. Man, such a beautiful day. Such a beautiful day. We'll go for about another 20 minutes. If anybody wants to jump in, go for it. I'm going to go grab another cup of coffee. So I will be right back in a minute. Don't go anywhere. And I will even leave the mic here so you all can enjoy the beautiful sounds of nature and the birds. So, all right. So the doggos wanted to come outside and hang out today, which is good. So the only ones that are still inside the home is my niece and my son. And they're probably both sleeping because they're night owls. They stay up at night. Yes. Yes, to look very good. The backyard is beautiful as well. But yeah, this is the front porch. Very, very beautiful land. I am truly blessed. But I left the city after high school and decided to move to the country. From a population of almost a million people to a town of 200,000. and it's worth it. We can actually leave our doors unlocked. We can travel 60 kilometers, get supplies if we need to, come absolutely beautiful people around here, great souls, um, regardless of their beliefs, regardless of my beliefs. So, yes, it's absolutely beautiful and peaceful. That's what we were getting into, Lacey, is lagom, Lagom, lagom. It's an old saying in Sweden, much like Fika, that means moderate. And Sweden is just the right amount. So that's basically the same thing. But it's helping to maintain that balance of moderation in your life, which is very important. See, yeah, going from Chicago to a small county like that, even the rural area, to some, it's a huge culture shock, you know. Um, so when I moved here, because I wanted to move to the mountains, but I wanted to be close to the ocean still. It was a huge culture shock to me, um, because many people think that people in this region of the country, in this state, are 20, 30 years behind the rest of the world. While that may seem true, um, they're very self-sustainable people. They're very smart. They can fix anything. They don't need the internet. So if you go to some major cities in America or around the world, they're like, how do you keep in touch with people? You just go visit them, like we did before the internet was around. You know, you're closer to your neighbor. Um, they have feasts a lot. They'll just gather for supper outside, and everyone shares what they have. And that's a great way to live. That's everyone's staying connected, and they do it without the internet, without social media. So they help each other on their farms. Uh, I remember when I was a teenager, when I had first moved here in my late teens, every season, especially the last hay season or in harvest season for different crops, the farmers would, everyone would meet at the first farm. They would finish what they did, and they go from farm to farm to farm. They still do that in Scandinavia too. Like the entire community goes and they helps. And this was the first place outside of Scandinavia that I saw that with my own eyes. So I was like, so it's a farming thing. It's not just a like a county cultural thing or a regional thing. It's every farm I've seen that in America. But it's good when you live in a small area like that because everyone knows everyone. So you're not just an address on a map, you know. You're very connected to your neighbors. Even if you don't get along, if something bad happens, you still check on them. They had a bad flood here in 2016. A bunch of us got a bunch of supplies loaded up in my truck, and the next day we went down to uh, the county that was affected east of us and the higher mountains. And there were so many people that made it in with supplies before the National Guard. I think it took them 2 or 3 days. The Salvation Army and all these other organizations. So by the time they showed up, there was already staging area set up. There was people getting batteries and supplies and water and food, and there was a few people that were grilling out steaks and hot dogs. And you would have thought that was like a summer festival, at the end of July, versus uh, an actual disaster area with floods and damage and people's houses destroyed. And I thought, this is why I moved here, because you might fight with your neighbor one day, disaster hits, the next day you're helping each other. And that's the kind of community the world needs right now. Yes, Lacey. Yes, my grandmother used to have us um, with certain crops, and then when we were older with corn, uh, everyone would sit on the front porch. I remember I would go to visit her, and she would have beans, and she'd just be sitting there, picking the beans. And throwing them in a bucket. She'd get another handful. She'd do those and throw them in the bucket. And she'd say, "You want to help?" And most kids these days know that's physical labor. I don't want to do that. My hands will get dirty. But, you know, back in the 80s, we didn't care. So we sat there, and next thing you know, you get into a conversation and she's teaching you all sorts of stuff. So I always tell them, um, yeah, shucking beans, shelling beans, peas, it's not about the work. It's about the experience, especially when you have an entire family doing it. Apple picking. Oh, miss those days. Oh, miss apple picking lays. So we want to do a fruit grove. We actually thought about doing one on the other side of the barn. The original context was to use that for pasture because normally when we raise pigs, we try to put them on a hillside. We'll put their feeder to the top instead of just a level ground. So they actually have to work for their food. They have to go up the hill, eat, come back down, go up the hill, eat, come back down. And it actually makes the meat leaner. It makes that pork leaner. So there's not that much fat. But I know there's people out there that like pork fat. Uh, but yeah, it helps them to buff up a little bit, even though they're fat pigs. And should be. So yeah, that's one trick. So we were looking at certain hills or banks and stuff like that, and then we'll have the goats clear out the rest of the brush when we move them to the forest in the fall. Fat is flavor. Fat is good, especially cooking it. So instead of having a big wide chunk of fat, you'll just have a smaller strip. And we slaughter a pig before Yule, before December 21st, normally on the 15th. And in Scandinavia, it was known by the Old Norse as Pig Dawn because it was a fresh harvest, and you didn't have to salt uh, the pig before you ate it for Yule, which I will actually put out closer to that time in December. Yule Skinka, which is the Yule ham that we cook every year. You'll love it. It's different from the traditional glazed American hams, but and all you need is like a 9 pound ham. You could feed 30 people from a 8 to 10 pound ham. So it's absolutely delicious. So we bake two hams. One the kids like, the American style big glazed ham, and then we make a Yule Skinka, and then we have a bird and all sorts of. We just have a huge feast. You would love it. The solstice. So yeah, Yule lasted 12 days, which is where the term the 12 days of Christmas come from. And it was probably the biggest celebration in Norse pagan history. And of course, other modern pagan groups like Wiccans also celebrate Yule. Um, Yule, the reason the winter solstice is so important is because it is the longest night and shortest day of the year. And of course, summer solstice is the opposite. It's the longest day and shortest night of the year. So the celebration of the sun and the warmth, and then when you start getting into the cold, dark, snowy winters, and you're stuck inside and you can't be outside all the time, we celebrate the return of the sun for the next spring, basically. So it's like a 12-day feast. Gifts are given. We have a huge bonfire. There was a lot of drinking involved. Um, and if you study this by the way that you live by the seasons and how our ancestors lived, you notice that they were cleaning out all of the toxins because the winter was the most prominent, the colder weather for diseases and sickness and death. So you're cleaning out all the toxins with alcohol, and then you're eating all these good foods and you're replenishing it. So you're basically just doing a tox flush, and then you're restoring your body back for winter to prepare it for winter to keep from getting sick. So yeah, Yule and Beltane. Beltane. Ah, love Beltane. Love Beltane. In Sweden, we call it Valborg. Valborg. So yeah, it lasts for 12 days. Where my wife's Christmas, she's Christian rather. So we mix Christmas and Yule, and we call it Yulemas. So we start on the 21st, huge bonfire. Everybody comes over, we drink, we have good times. We try to stay up until the sun comes up. Um, and we play games, we sing songs. The fourth day, which is December 25th, is when we have our huge feast. So around the 24th, 25th. And then everybody eats. We drink wine, we drink ale, we drink meat, a lot of meat. And again, we exchange gifts. And we do that from the 21st until Christmas Day. And then we open up the rest of the gifts. Family and telling stories about uh, your family. So um, stories about those that aren't there with us, Christmas stories um, of our ancestors and our family members that are no longer with us. So that's basically how we celebrate Yule. And of course, everything is green. We bring the greenery, the evergreen inside, and we decorate. And there's a lot of decorating, and we'll have videos on that coming up too this fall. It's absolutely that's the one holiday of the year that we what's the term? Go all out, I guess. We celebrate heavily, I guess is the term I should be saying, that we celebrate heavily. And we have the biggest bonfire of the year on that day. I can't throw up a picture, but the one we had last year and the year before was about 12 feet tall and 8 feet wide. Um, Beautiful picture with the stars in the background and the bare trees. It was snow on the ground. It was absolutely beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So uh, may go live for that. Don't know. We normally try not to do any live streams around that time, just because it's all about families. You know, spending time with your family. That's the important part. We get into a lot of crafting, mead making. Um, we do a lot of the ancient weaving on Inkla looms and other looms. So we'll have different patterns that I trim for my tunic, or I'll put on my Birka hat, which is basically like a beanie that's fur lined. Absolutely warm. You can wear that, shorts, and a t-shirt, and you'll stay warm all winter. So, yes, it's a wonderful time, and I thank you for, especially for letting me share this with you all. Um, Especially when we do our bushcrafting shelter, we do have modern clothes that we wear and stuff. Uh, and even for our bedding, excuse me, for our bedding, we do a lot of traditional bedding. So wool blanket, very important. We'll explain all of this and why we do it. Um, like a leather tarp. So um, or well, leather ground cloth, and a reindeer hide. Sleep on a reindeer hide too, because it'll also keep you warm. Besides a soft bed to lay on. So we'll keep that up there. I normally don't take my wolf hide with me out into the forest unless it's going to be really cold. But normally I just wear my parka, and that keeps me warm enough. And if it's really cold, yes, we do use sleeping bags. Um, Depending on how cold it is. If it's about 30 degrees, don't really need it, even if it's snowing, because we'll have the fire next to us. So, all a beautiful time. And I'm really eager to do those videos and show everyone because it's important to know how to make your own shelter and how to survive and things like that. You never know when you'll need it. Even in a modern society, you never know when that skill may need to be used. Deadshot Gaming, good to see you. Good to see you. My able gamer. Glad to see everyone here. So, does anybody have any questions? Wants to pop up on panel? Right there's a link below the ticker on your phone, right over here if you're on your PC or your laptop. Because if not, I'll go all day talking. All day talking. Well, thank you. Yeah, we try to stay busy here. We absolutely try to stay busy by doing. Just living off the land and living with nature and maintaining that balance. That's what it's about. It's not go to work, come home, get on the internet, and repeat. You got to balance it. you're going to go into a deep dive of depression. You'll you'll just go insane. You'll lose your purpose, what you were meant to do. You'll lose your purpose. Live sustainably. Only eat what you need. Only raise the food that you know you and your family will need to eat. Um, I mean, that's what it's about. Even when we do our bushcraft shelters in the fall and winter, you won't see us um, taking whole bags of chips and coolers. We don't do that. Just what we have in our pack that we know the bare minimum we need to survive. Uh, yeah, that's all you need. It's all about lagum. Yeah, and I'll be honest, I'm glad you brought that up, Trader, because I thought about cutting way back on the stream or the channel, and I know I've had some other friends, especially from back home in Sweden, that thought about jumping off of YouTube altogether. Uh, because when you do this content creation, it does take up a lot of your time. To this than you do with nature. To us, it just feels wrong. So, which is why I try to limit the Fika streams to maybe two a month. Try not to pop up on too many live streams. Um, and then doing content in between. So the original plan was to do a 15-minute video every week. But after you video everything, you crop out and you trim all of your videos. You're doing all of your editing. You get into the middle of it, you're ready to be done, and then you're like, oh, I forgot to do this, or I forgot to add this. So you have to jump in and do things. And and then next thing you know, your 1 hour editing is going to 4 hours, and that's part of your day. I mean, you could do a lot outside in 4 hours. You can create a lot of things in 4 hours, improvements to your land, exercise, things like that. So, Nick, good to see you. Skull, thank you for being here. So, it does take up, especially the video editing, it takes up a lot of your time. So, I decided instead of doing the one a week, I'm just going to try to do one each month. Now, most people that are content creators on YouTube will say, well, you won't gain as many subscribers that way. You won't be able to hit your 1,000 or 2,000 or 1 million mark. I don't care. I'm not here to monetize. It's about maintaining that balance. If I'm spending more time on YouTube than I am outside, uh, doing what I need to do, doing my duty as a father and a husband, then it's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's no different than playing a video game, um, or watching movies all day. It's not worth it. So good to see everybody here. If anybody wants to jump in on panel, right there's a StreamYard link at the top in the blue bar, just below the live chat messages and the settings and all that. So does anybody have any big vacations coming up? Anything fun this weekend they have planned? $1,900. I don't understand. Ooh. So Trader works on the internet as a job, and then YouTube is like fun for her. Oh, Nick, how did that go? How was that vacation in Tennessee? Tennessee's beautiful country. Beautiful. Lee says he can watch the reeds. Go harvest some berries. Guidance, yes. Take the toddlers, throw in a backpack, slide them both in there. Go harvest some berries in the middle of the forest. DG, you guys are going to get hit by the polar vortex very hard, pretty much similar to last December. You're going to get hit by it this year. I know it. I know it. Northern Michigan. It's not about living in the wintertime, it's about survival. So understand that. It's the same here in the mountains. Ah, I see traders 1900. Gotcha. Okay. Sounds good. So, only swamps. No, no. I guess like Georgia, Louisiana, Texas, part of Arkansas, swamps. No, some swamps are very beautiful. If they had no mosquitoes, it'd be even better. Oh man, Michigan. So, DG, Nick, you can laugh at me. I did not find out until last year what a Uper was because I have a friend that lives up in the UP. So he said I'm a Uper, and I was like, okay, maybe that's some slang term for where he's from. And then he told me 4 inches and flurries. Man, we had a naked winter this last winter. When that cold hit, um, back in December, the week of Yule, I remember it snowed and then it got really cold, so it was like mostly ice. And I was out on my front porch. It's actually the videos on my Instagram page. I was drinking mead that night, and my jeans on, my boots, and my beanie, and hold on one second, Nick, and I'll tell you where I'm from. And it was negative 18 or negative 34. It was really cold. It felt just like home. It felt just like home. I was super, super excited. Nick, I am originally from Sweden, from Bordas, Sweden. Our family's from the north, Gavla, Uppsala, Piteå, those areas. I live in America now. Moved here when I was about 11 years old. I've been back and forth from Sweden to America, Sweden to America. Traveled other countries as well for work. Um, so I like where I live. My sons were raised here. This is their friends. They've been to other countries as well. They've traveled outside of America. Um, so this is like home number two. But there are good people and there's good land, and actually American land is cheaper than anywhere in the world. So when you bitch about your cost of housing and your land and stuff, it's actually much cheaper than other parts of the world. Lumberjack. It's got to be the beard. It's definitely the beard. We have a saying in Scandinavia for people that don't have a beard: women and children. Oh, I'm in West Virginia right now. I'm in West Virginia. I'm in the mountains of West Virginia. Very remote, very quiet. Taxes are cheap. Everything's not very expensive either. So it's like a perfect area to be. The bad part, it's a boomer bust state. So there's very, very poor areas and there's very, very rich areas. So we're like kind of in between where we're at. Yeah, Appalachia. Yeah. So very diverse culture, from slang to music to everything else, which when I first moved here, I did not know what a holler was. So a holler is a hollow. They call it holler. It's a very narrow valley. Sometimes it can last for miles. Roads go through. So I live in basically what they call a holler. I had a holler to me was a slang term for yelling at someone. So, and I guess the slang term from that didn't come from hollow, is that you would have to yell from one end of the hollow to the other. So, so they'd have to yell hollers. So there are some in the southern part of the state that are very, very poor. Um, there are some in the southeastern portions of the state which are very, very poor. But this whole state is covered with hollers everywhere. Um, ah, that's the air guy going to the neighbors. So, oh, okay. DG, I did not know that. Yeah, so I am 2 miles from the Ohio River. I'm in the Ohio Valley area. So which mostly is just farmland and a few plants and things like that. Cowboy, good to see you. Glad you could join us. Mm. Kentucky Holler, southeastern Kentucky, especially where Robert is from. Um, very poor areas down her way. Very poor areas down her way, but a lot of history down that way. So, yeah, we're in I guess a holler, what they call it, um, very remote, and then surrounded by hills and mountains with flat plateaus on top, which is mainly where we use for cattle grazing in the summertime. We move them there, then bring them back down for the winter. Parkersburg, they call that Peaburg here. Wood County. Peaburg is like the rock metal punk scene of West Virginia, has been for a few years. Evil Gamer, glad you could join us. Yeah, definitely video the streams, man. Storms are great. So, and everybody be careful where you're at too with these storms coming in. We're going to get hit tonight. So right now it's very sunny. Sky's clear. It's absolutely beautiful. But Parkersburg, yeah, Parkersburg's about 2 hours north of me. Hour and a half, 2 hours north. Um, when we drove to Buffalo, New York back in June, um, we actually took the interstate by Parkersburg. Been there many times. Blennerhassett Island, some beautiful areas up there too. Beautiful old city. Hooper, glad you joined us, man. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right, so we'll cut this short in about 3 minutes. If anybody has any questions, let me know real quick before we jump off panel. We'll try to get these videos done too very soon for everyone. And please don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe too. Uh, the next Fika will probably be weather depending next Wednesday. Actually, forget it. If it's raining, we're still going to do it. It doesn't matter. We're still going to have fun. We're still going to enjoy our coffee. Yes, and it's very, very, very happy to see everyone into gardening so much too. You know, raising your own food, planting that seed and watching it grow, and then being able to harvest the fruits from it. That's very important. You know where your food's coming from. You know you're eating healthy. It doesn't contain herbicides and pesticides and things like that. But yes, it was good to see everyone today. I'm glad you all joined in. It's time for Niels to get back out into this and finish some work and split some more wood tonight before the rain hits so we can get everything done before winter. But yes, everyone have a great day. Stay positive. You cannot have a positive life with a negative mind. You cannot have a positive life with a negative mind. So keep your mind sharp, practice lagom, maintain that balance. Absolutely maintain that balance. And it's warm and it's sunny out. Well, at least hopefully where you are. So make sure you get out and enjoy it. Enjoy the nature, enjoy the sounds, take everything in. And enjoy it with your family is the most important part. And if it's raining, stay inside, play games, create something, build a fort for your kids, build a. But yes, everyone, enjoy your day, enjoy your week, and I hope you all have an enjoyable weekend coming up. And until we see each other again, Skol.